Alright, welcome to Oliver's introduction to the new Opcom interface that I've created for the mission development. We can take a look at it here. As you can see, it's movable. I've got a large size, pretty large as it can go. Should fit within all the safe zones for your monitor, so you shouldn't have any problems. If you do have problems, let me know. As you can see, we've got a lot of different options here. We'll start off on the top left hand side. You can see we have flares, and in each one of these, everything is scripted to where you select items from the drop down boxes first, and then you're going to choose a location if that's applicable, and then you're going to choose the start function, either go, start, fire, whatever the case may be. But that's pretty much how everything will flow in the Opcom interface. So for instance, if we wanted to create flares, we're going to create green ones. We want them to last for 1 minute. We'll choose a location. We want to do them right above ourselves here, and we can hit the start button. And pretty soon it's going to start raining down flares. Open the interface back up. Now we have some light. If we need to call in reinforcements, you hit this drop down box right here, and you have a large list of reinforcements. You can choose from a wide range of that. You can use infantry, fire team, choose your location. We'll click those right there. Of course, this creates local markers for everything, and you can hit the create button, and it creates those guys right there for us. You'll also notice if you open up the high command module, you do have high command control of those guys as well. Alright, back into the groups. I also have a feature that was requested for mechanized infantry. So it's the exact same group of infantry for the fire team and the squad right here, except for this time they're mechanized. And then you have some different options available when you select those guys. So if we wanted to do the mechanized fire team, for instance, we could select that. As you can see, it also notifies you when the flares have ended, when your script has ended. Because a lot of times you may not always be where the flares are at in that location. If you select the infantry mechanized fire team, and then you select a location, and we'll spawn those guys right in front of us. We're going to spawn right here. You also get another option to click, and this is going to be our unload position. This is actually, you need to choose the position that you want them to advance to. So we're going to choose our starting position here, and which could be behind buildings, hills, whatever the case may be. And just for demo purposes, we're going to tell them to go here. Alright, and now we're going to have another local marker on our map that shows their unload location. When they get here, they will unload from their transport vehicle, and they will start to patrol that area, as well as the transport vehicle. So we've got that set up. We got them started right here, and we've got them unloading right here. We'll create that group. As you can see, group creates. They have their own vehicle, and off and away they go. And they should drive over there here in a second and unload for us. There they go. Alright, now that these guys are out, they should start to patrol here momentarily, as you can see. And they will patrol in a 120-yard radius from the location that you select. So this is great for sending reinforcements to an area, and if the front lines of the Blue 4 assault hasn't reached there yet, these guys will just patrol around until they engage with the enemy, and then the AI will take over and engage said enemy. Alright, back to the interface. Of course, you have a fire team level, and you also have a squad level. Same type of situation. We can choose it here, and we're going to choose an unload position. Choose that right here. Create the create button. As you can see, they have a different type of vehicle to hold all those guys, and they're off and away they go. And they're pretty much set up to do the exact same thing as well. They'll start unloading, and they'll set up and patrol as well. Alright, you also have a lot more vehicles at your disposal to spawn as well. Alright, now on to the objectives. Just so we can see here, we're going to skip ahead just a little bit. We're going to create us a truck. As you can see, you can select these objects to create, to transport, hit the create button, and it'll create it right in front of you. We're going to drive down here, take a look at this object we have set up down here. Now this is explained in the README document, but you have one array that's copied into your init SQF, and when you create a objective for the blue 4 to accomplish, you put that in with the editor, like say this generator right here. You will give that a name in the editor, and then you place that name into the objectives array. And from then on, my scripts will take over and take that information, and you can see the thing right there. And it will show up with that name in your objectives drop-down box. So at any time during the mission, you can check on that objective. You don't actually have to go look for it or anything like that. So we can choose the generator and hit the check button, and it's going to give us all kind of information. It's going to give us the name, the type of actual vehicle or class name that it is. It tells us that it hasn't been destroyed. It's located at this location right here, and it also marked it on the map for us. So lots of information there to help when you are trying to decide if the unit has completed objectives. So a lot of information there, and we'll get to what happens when they're actually destroyed here in just a second. Open the interface back up. We've also got a teleport feature. This is for after missions, and of course, since very few people are allowed to be the Opcom, I included this teleport feature just to help out with any type of mission needs. If you have to go check on something for something that I couldn't plan for in the objectives wise, or if you need to check and find out if a script is messing up or something along those lines, and you don't want to use a normal vehicle transporter, you need to get there really fast, I've included this. And of course, that's going to be up to the discretion of the user, of course, the Opcom, but we don't have to worry about any Joe Smo new private teleporting all over the map. This is pretty controlled, so I have put that in for the mission needs, but of course I'm sure it will be used sparingly based on the judgment of the Opcom. Alright, so next we have the artillery. And I wrote this script, and this part right here, this is probably some of the most work along with the reinforcements that I put into this. And I wrote this to, of course I already wrote some previous artillery scripts to add those functions into the Opcom commander, but I wanted a lot more selectability, a lot more options that you can use to use artillery with. So I wrote this, put this together, and of course you have your batteries that I've already set up in prior missions for you. You have 2 D30 batteries, 2 mortar batteries, and a grad battery. So for instance, if we wanted to select the mortar battery, we'd select that, and it works pretty much the same way. You're going to select all the options in the drop down boxes, then you're going to hit the location, and then you're going to choose to fire. The ordnance type, you have these selected right here. You choose the type of ordnance you want: high explosive, Willy Pete, illumination, sat arm, laser, smoke. Now, not all batteries have available to all those ordnance types. Future goals for this is to have, when you select a, for instance, mortar, a mortar only has high explosive available, illumination, and Willy Pete. Those are the only options available for it. When you select those, alright, after you select your type of ammunition that you would like, the ordnance type, you're going to select the rate of fire. And unfortunately, when I was coding all this, I didn't make this as descriptive as possible. But basically, this is the the time in between shots for the entire battery. So 0, of course, is going to be as fast as the battery can fire, and 5 is going to be 5 seconds in between each shot. Couple that with your round counts. You choose the total number of rounds that you would like to send downrange. Alright, so you can select the round count. Couple this with the rate of fire, say 30 round count with a 5 rate of fire is going to create a very, very long sustained barrage. Or you could, if you were trying to actually destroy something, you could choose the 0 rate of fire, which is as fast as the battery can fire, and say 10 or 15 round count, and that's really going to destroy a whole little area. So of course that's pretty handy. Alright, so we've got our battery selected, we've got our ordnance type selected, we want it to fire as fast as we can, and we're going to fire 10 rounds. Now we need to choose a location. So we want to blow up that objective that we were talking about a little earlier for demonstration purposes. So what we're going to do is we're going to hit the location. The first thing you're going to notice is you're going to get some range markers. Now this map is for testing purposes, but on normal Takistan you're going to have some range markers. The green being your maximum range, and the red marker right here being your minimum range. So that's a pretty useful guide to get you on target for your type of battery that you're using. So now we want to we want that to come down right on top of this objective. So we're going to click on the map because it's waiting for our click. So once you do that, it's going to create a marker for you, and it's going to tell you that's where it's at. So then we're all set up to go. Now we can fire this artillery. So let's tell them to fire. Now it's also going to tell you that they'll give you radio messages letting you know that they're about to fire, and tell you what's going on. Because not all the times you're going to be close enough to the battery to actually hear them firing. So I've scripted in where they actually talk to you and let you know. If there's a problem with a mission, a firing solution, they can't hit it, they'll let you know that as well. And they're firing this on a pretty steep angle, so here in just a minute it will land, and we'll get back to that in here in just a second. Alright, if you open up the interface again as well, we've already seen this once. I used it a couple times, but everything in here, just like your vehicles that you normally have on the map, whatever you create here is indestructible. As you can see, it lets you know that the rounds are fixing to splash down, and there they go. And they're letting you know that they've fired all their rounds for that fire mission, and it's complete, and they're available again. Now, looks like we've probably destroyed that generator, so let's take a look at it. Objective generator, let's check that. Alright, then it tells you the name of it, the class name it is, and it lets us know that it's been destroyed. So that's pretty helpful. You don't have to go all over the map and jump in your car and drive around anymore. You can tell these things pretty easily. Pretty readable. But as you can see, these vehicles are indestructible just like your normal ones. So you have that option available. So it's still good. And I've created 4 different types of objects. I know you don't normally use these. You normally use the truck, and I use the truck and basically civilian vehicles for you. In the case that you needed to, I know sometimes you guys stay on the server sometimes and check out certain sections of the mission and see how it went, and you guys do some more recon after the mission's over. So I included these to help you guys out in that facet if you ever do need it. It's easier to have it in there now than it is to add it a little later and make sure everything's working right. So this has all been tested. This right here, as you can see, it's definitely movable. This section right here is this will become your clock. I'm still working on that feature, but I want to go ahead and push the rest of this because it's all working now. This is obviously being shown on a dedicated server, and a lot of these features are handing off a lot of different things. So this does not work in single player or a single player hosted game. So if you're trying to test this in the editor, several of the features will not work because they're written exclusively for a dedicated server. The flares, the reinforcements, and the artillery are the ones that will not work in a local environment. And the way that I'm passing information back and forth,